Hi, I'm Steve Adubato coming to you from Rowan University. In fact, more specifically, we are in a center called the Virtual Reality Center at Rowan University, and we'll be doing a series of in-depth interviews with a whole range of people who are making a difference in applied research. And we start off our series with Dr. Ali A. Houshmand, who is the president of Rowan University. Good to see you, Mr. President.
Good to see you as well. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, we also want to make it clear that we have a group of students here at Rowan who are learning about broadcasting, interviewing skills. It's an applied teaching class as well that I happen to be teaching here at Rowan at the time, to fully disclose. Applied research, what does it mean and connect it to this center?
Well, it means that this center is available to all the entities within our community, not only our faculty and students, but also the businesses, the enterprises, the communities like the municipalities, like the hospitals, like doctors across the river. People who want to do the kind of experimentation that is intrusive, so to speak. And let's assume that you want to cut somebody's open.
Yes.
In order to kind of try some new method. You cannot do that. You cannot afford to just cut somebody just to see whether things work or not.
But if you have virtual reality.
But if you have virtual reality, you can do that in 100 different times and eventually find the kind of solution that you think applies and then take it to the real world and implement it. You take that example and apply it to every aspect that you want, whether it's controlling floods, whether it's controlling population, whether it's designing new traffic system, whether it's flying new aircrafts and how landing and
excuse me, interrupting, to be safer in our very crowded airways.
Exactly.
You know, why is that the role of a public university?
Well, a public university belongs to the public, and that we are here to create knowledge and to impart knowledge. So when we create knowledge, the knowledge, in my view, belongs to our community, to our society. And we need to give it to them in a way that they can use it to make the lives of people better. That's really what universities are all about, in my view.
You know, this is the Virtual Reality Center here at Rowan, and what's interesting is that when we were getting ready, Dr. Houshmand, for today, one of the things that struck me, and I remember the first time I came through here, I'm thinking Sandy, 2012.
Exactly.
Hurricane Sandy, Storm Sandy, that everyone knows, Superstorm Sandy. How could virtual reality and what's going on here help municipalities prepare for another storm and make decisions accordingly?
Well, the experiences that we have acquired from Sandy, all the data and all the information, and other similar events could be fed into a system in here with very intelligent, creative people who now can develop a model and then apply it to different scenarios. By changing certain parameters and certain numbers, they could probably see different conditions that could occur and then account for them and plan for them. So whether it's going to be a massive storm that is going to bring surge or wind or thunderstorm, all sorts of eventualities can be simulated in here. And so for every different condition, you could really have or develop a solution, at least in a laboratory setting. And then when things happen, then at least you have solutions out there in your back pocket that you could implement. I think that's really what...
It's interesting because while there's a research component, there's a public policy component, because public policy decisions, if I have this right, can be made based on the simulation and the information you get.
Yes, it could. If the simulation is done right by people who can model them accurately, the simulation can almost depict the reality. The beauty of the simulation and this kind of thing is that these kind of results should be done by people who understand the data, who understand modeling, who can truly simulate the real reality. Nothing is worse than you trying to depict an issue or a situation that is divorced from reality and try to simulate that. That's why I'm saying that it's very, very important that the kind of information that we get, the kind of data that we get are so accurate, and the modeling is done so accurate so that when you now have a model, that model truly represents the various conditions of the reality.
Did you envision this 5 years ago?
In this kind of condition, no, at this level, no. Obviously, simulation. I did simulation in my own dissertation 30 years ago. But
so you understand simulation?
Oh, of course, absolutely. Yes, yeah, absolutely. So we know how to simulate various conditions. I actually looked at a very, very high-powered lathe cutting machine that cuts parts. And I use simulation in here to look at various conditions under which the cutting tool could be damaged or worn or cracked. So people do simulation in all sorts of settings.
Let's talk healthcare. One of the interviews we'll be doing here at the Virtual Reality Center at Rowan is actually with someone who does brain surgery. So think about it. There's technology, and by the way, we'll show as much video as we can to make this as real as possible. But doctor, we're talking about surgeons dealing with the brain and the intricacies of that organ. And seeing things based on technology and science and virtual reality before they would go in, he or she would go in and do surgery. Why does that matter so much? Life.
What is more important than that? I mean, you're talking about such a complex surgery by very brilliant individuals. Still, things could go wrong. And for them to have access to all the information in the brain of a patient before they go in and do the cutting, that gives them much more information and knowledge to do it correctly, to do it accurately. Especially, I mean, you're going to talk to one of the, as you said, one of the surgeons, a brilliant man in here, who's going to come and
He's
explain
actually here. There's a whole group of people
sitting
in on our conversation right now. Go ahead, talk about it.
And so you're going to find out from him that how valuable this tool is for him to go in with open eyes. Because when you're looking at the brain of a patient, and I know there are a whole host of techniques and MRIs and scans and all of that, but still the complexity of this thing is so monumental that any additional information that the surgeon has in order to do their job right is that much better for the safety of the patient.
Talk about the students. Whether they're medical students, because I know there's a collaboration with the medical school down here, the folks, I believe, at Cooper.
That's right.
But for students, I mean, I talked about the fact that we have students who are studying media and communication, interviewing skills. What about for students who are studying medicine, who are studying aviation, who are studying topography, land use?
How about journalism? Right now, you're actually doing simulation in here for these people. They are seeing a version of an interview.
I never even looked at it that way.
I'm looking. That's what is happening right now.
But the technology that we're talking about here makes it even. Is it a different teaching experience, and if so, how?
It is much different because visualization, many people learn by visualizing, by seeing things as it happens.
Not just talking about it.
Not just talking about it because it's abstract. Some people like that. Some people actually learn from basic principles, but many people like to be visual learners. So when they see something that is in motion and is moving and they can see different parts and they can see, for example, the way you can fly through a human body and see different parts and different components of body, that is such an amazing way of learning things. Then any amount of reading and abstract is not going to enable you to learn as much.
My final question, Doctor. You were featured in a major business publication not too far back as an entrepreneur and innovator.
They call it disruptor, I think.
Disruptor? Was that okay with you?
I don't know. I guess anybody who's willing to disrupt a status quo that is not functioning well, I think I would consider as a positive thing.
Is that part of what this is, the virtual reality center?
Well,
or a different way of looking at things?
Trying to create a university that teaches people real practical education that makes their lives better. To me, it's very important. If you want to send your son or daughter to school and you write a big check today and they say, go to University XYZ and get whatever degree, your hope as a parent is that your child eventually finishes, becomes a successful, productive citizen and has a decent life, has a job, has a purpose in life. If we bring people in here to this university to teach them, to give them a degree, at the end of the day, they need to be armed with some knowledge, some techniques, some capabilities that they can go out there and they can sell their knowledge and their capabilities and have earning and have a decent life. That's the wish of every single parent that I know of.
That's the point.
That's the point. The whole purpose of education is to make people more capable to function better and be more successful. What else is more important than that?
Well said, Dr. Ali Houshmand, who's the president here at Rowan University. I am, again, to disclose, I'm proud to be teaching here, but also Rowan has been and continues to be a big supporter of public broadcasting. And I want to thank you for allowing us to come on campus and to be part of this fascinating experiment. Thank you.
And thank you for being here, and thank you for really lending your expertise to our students, because the kind of knowledge that you bring, the kind of real practical knowledge that you bring in here is invaluable to these students when they see it. Thank you for your help.
We'll be right back after this.
My name is Dr. John Brundback. I'm actually the medical director of the Interventional Institute here at Holy Name Medical Center. Peripheral arterial disease actually is extremely common. It's one of the forms of hardening of the artery. As interventional radiologists, we perform minimally invasive image-guided procedure. Generally, the procedures we do are alternatives to what would otherwise be major surgery. Almost 80% of those patients can avoid amputation if they're referred for us for these sort of procedures.
Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey. 1-877 Holy Name. Healing begins here.
Also brought to you by the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Find out how you can help. And by New Jersey Resources.